Okay, so good morning again, everyone. This is Giulia Cimino, and today I will show you an Instana overview. So this is an advanced application monitoring, and we will explore the latest enhancements. So first of all, what is Instana? So Instana is an AI-powered observability platform for modern application, which is built to monitor and optimize modern and cloud-native application. So it can help teams and customers to monitor WLA complex systems in real time, to trace requests across AWS services and infrastructures, and to detect issues also proactively using AI, which is built in the platform. And it can also, thanks to its features, to accelerate troubleshooting and reduce downtime. Regarding Instana's key features, we can, of course, list the real-time observability, which continuously monitor AWS application performance with instant data updates. It also features the end-to-end tracing, which trace every request across services from WA jobs to backend systems. It features, as we said before, the AI-driven automation, which detects issues automatically and get root cause insights in seconds, as we will see during the demo. It is also developer and DevOps friendly. As we can see, as we will see, it is easy to integrate with powerful tools for fast troubleshooting. It is highly intuitive and also highly customizable. It features the OpenTelemetry compatibility to collect and analyze telemetry data using open standards. And it also features an important tool, which are the custom alerts, so that customers can set smart alerts based on job status, performance metrics, and anomalies. So let's move on to see a little business scenario, so how we can enhance AWS with Instana. So Instana adds value to WA users thanks to its end-to-end visibility, as we said some moments before, of the job execution across systems and application. It also features, as we said, the real-time alerts on job delays, failures, and so on. It features also the automatic correlation of workload jobs with infrastructure and application metrics. And it also has a faster root cause analysis thanks to its AI built in, and also through contextual data and the smart alerts. And as I said before, it is also highly customizable thanks to its dashboards and KPIs, which are tailored for workload and performance monitoring. But actually, how we can get monitoring started. So for Instana, we basically have two options. The first is to install an Instana agent, which is built in with the Instana platform. So you can deploy the Instana agent directly on the WA machine to automatically collect system metrics, logs, and performance data. And it also enables a full stack observability. Or you can decide to use OpenTelemetry SDK, which is a tool that is used to send custom job and workflow data on Instana. It offers a great flexibility and full control over what is monitored. And of course, the customers can choose the option that best fits the architecture and monitoring goals. Regarding OpenTelemetry, it is you can configure the built-in OpenTelemetry SDK through OpenTelemetry, StatsD, or Prometheus to send application-specific metrics to Instana. And it also offers the built-in support for logs and events to correlate with metrics and traces for full context. And as we said before, it features custom dashboards and service view to create tailored visualization of the data the customers wants to monitor. So the result is that you have all your telemetry in one place, which is ready for fast diagnosis and smart decision making. Regarding the configuring of AWS OpenTelemetry SDK, there is also a great and very large documentation that you can find. Either on AWS documentation or on Instana documentation, specifically to set the OpenTelemetry collector. But now let's start the demo.
Hi, sorry, just before you start the demo, someone's raised their hand. Is there a question?
Yeah, please.
Yes, hi. So Chaitanya here. Now the question here is, now although you mentioned that we will be shipping various logs and all, right? This is more related to the scheduler monitoring rather than the job level monitoring things, isn't it? So for example, if I want to build a dashboard which monitors an SLA for a particular job, now in that case, job historical data plays a vital role, isn't it? If I want to calculate SLA for a job. Now, we tried Prometheus and all these options because they were available from 9.5 itself. Now, it sends only the scheduler related data to Elastic or whatever solution you use. But if you are not shipping the job historical data, or you don't provide any plugin to ship the job historical data into Elastic, how can you build dashboards or anything at the job level? I mean, people won't be interested at the scheduler level other than admins, really, isn't it? So if I'm a TWS user, then I would like to look at my job and how it is performing, how the SLA is. So ideally, I believe that there should be an option to ship the job historical data, and that's when this provides more usability or more use cases.
Yes, actually, as we will see, you can decide to monitor a different time on the Instana platform. So you can decide to monitor your application live, or you can decide also a specific date or a time range in which you can monitor the application you are seeing and monitoring on Instana. Of course, it doesn't monitor like it doesn't go back in a very long period of time. So for example, you don't have logs in the last few years, in the last 2 years, let's say, but you have historical logs on different time range that you can monitor. And yeah, of course, the logs are all the logs regarding the application that you are monitoring on Instana. And actually, you can also deploy different virtual machines on Instana. You can decide to monitor different virtual machine at the same time, and you will have all the logs in the same place, and then you can filter them.
Well, the answer which you gave is more with respect to the scheduler, isn't it? I'm asking from the job level. So now if I want to look at a particular job and see how my job is performing today or what happened to my job yesterday, so there should be an option to ship the logs into Elastic or ESAS from TWS itself.
Yeah, I actually, we didn't do that. So let me just confront with my colleagues to ask them what we can do about it and if there is an option to do that. But yeah, basically what I can tell you right now is that you can decide to monitor a specific job by inserting some filters or by grouping the logs. But let me ask them if there is an option about what you're saying right now.
Yeah. If there is an option to ship the job historical data to Elastic, it would be really helpful, and especially in a large environment like us.
Yeah, I can do like a follow-up in a few minutes when I finish the demo, or I will send you a mail to let you know about it.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
If I can also say, do you
Yeah.
have access to the cloud pack for AIOps?
Yeah, you can set it. I don't have it right now, but you can set it because, as we said, Instana is also made to monitor the cloud native application. So if you want to monitor an application which is based on cloud, you can of course do that.
Sorry, no, it was for the questioner. Whether the questioner has got access to the cloud pack, because that does have a log analysis tool in it, where you could be doing some of the what you're asking for, and also it's got a dashboarding. So if you do have access to that, if you reach out to me, I can.
I think, sorry, for me, I was on board. I think, you've got a job that runs every day, and it takes different durations every day, whatever. That should be ingestible into an observability tool. So you can graph that and then record deltas and alert on deltas. That's observability. That's not log tracing. That is just taking those metrics, all those job detail metrics. You should be able to ingest that at a job level and a schedule level and other things. We did something with workstation limits. So we imported the workstation limit usage because that wasn't graphable in IWS, and the version we had 9.5 at the time, into Datadog. And then we instantly saw that we had a workstation that was hitting the limit and sitting hard on the limit, which is why a whole load of jobs weren't being executed. So getting all the metrics into an observability tool in whatever fashion, so that you can then graph it, by job level. You can have thousands of jobs, and then being able to see its average runtime, how it's running today, is it going to break that?
So from an APM point of view, monitoring, so that's what I think we're going to see in maybe the demo, and that is something you can do in Instana. I was just thinking more about if it's really
at the job level, because I got the impression from the person on the call that you could do it at a job level. The history.
I was thinking more of So I was thinking more of like historical, kind of like going back quite.
Well, that is historical days. What time did this job run last week compared to today?
I was thinking like years.
Not the logs.
Not the logs for years, kind of thing.
It's not a log. It's a metric. It's just a timestamp, isn't it? Of when did this job run? If I want to look at the job log, that would be different. Again, logs. But I just want the timestamps of it all, and that is definitely something that would be good to get. Sorry, Julia.
If you want to carry on.
No problem. Feel free to ask me any questions. I can start with the demo if you are, if that's okay with you. So this is the Instana platform, and I decided to start the demo by letting you see the infrastructure section. As you can see on the left, we have a menu with all the sections that we will see in this demo. So let's start with the infrastructure one. This is a very helpful tool to let you see visually with what we are working. So for each column is a virtual machine that we are using on Instana. So for example, in this case, we are using only a virtual machine, and every virtual machine is divided into layers. Every layer is an application that is used on that virtual machine and on Instana. So for example, here we have a WebSphere Liberty server, the Prometheus app, the Instana agent, and the .NET app. As you can see, this layer is red. So when a layer becomes orange or red, it means that there are some issues on that. So for example, here we have 3 issues that we will see in more detail in a few moments. But at a glance, you can see all the issues that are associated with a layer. So for example, here we have some issues with the Prometheus app. If we decided to, so if we decide to also use the OpenTelemetry SDK, we will also have to deploy a collector that will appear here in a separated column from the virtual machine that we are monitoring. Now let's see some analytics. So from the left, I'm selecting the analytics section. And here there are some built-in widgets that can be very useful to help the customers see some statistics and some graphics about the application that they are working with. So there is, for example, a graphic of the calls, of the renews calls rate, a mean of the latency, the status, and here there is a list of all the calls. And then you can also, of course, add a filter to it, add a group to it, and so on. As I was saying before, you can decide the time range that you want to monitor on Instana. So for example, you can decide to monitor it live, but you can also decide to monitor it last minute, last 24 hours, yesterday, previous week, or a personalized time range. So for example, I decided to monitor the last week, this week. Now let's move on to the most maybe important part of the platform, which is the section that groups all the section that we want to monitor at a glance. This is highly customizable, as I was saying before in the presentation, because you can decide which sections you want to see in your home. So for example, I decided to position at the top my custom dashboards, then a graphic of the events, and then the incidents, the applications, and so on. But you can decide to reposition them. So if you want to put the events at the top, for example. Then let's move on to the customizable dashboards, which I think that can be one of the most useful and important features of Instana. So for example, so the dashboards are highly customizable. So for example, I decided to put a database connection widget here, a workstation link status, a workstation running status, the job status over time, the job status pie chart, but this is all customizable. There are no built-in widgets. So the customers can decide to put here every widget they want. So let's have a quick demonstration of adding a widget. So if you click here on add widget, the first thing that Instana wants you to choose is the graphics. So for example, we have an app text chart, a big number, a pie chart that we use, for example, to monitor the job status, a time series, an Instagram, an SA low, and so on. We can decide which graphic fits better for the metric we want to monitor. So for example, for this demo, let's create a time series chart. So we click on next, and as I said, is highly customizable. So we can decide the data source from which we can select the metric. So for example, here I'm choosing the infrastructure and platform, and I can also select the metric. So for example, for this demo, I'm selecting the servlet request elapsed time per request seconds that I am gathering from the Prometheus app. We can decide the unit. We can decide the aggregation. So for example, I'm selecting the sum. The customer can also select a filter, a group, a time shift, a name. And for this specific graphic, we can also decide the access configuration, the data sets, and so on. Let's give this widget a name, and we will have a preview of the widgets if that fulfills our requests. So when we click on create, here it is, our widget. And as I was saying, you can decide to resize them or to reposition them in the dashboard. So you can actually create the dashboard as the customer wishes, with all the widgets that are most useful to monitor the metrics that the customer wants. So now let's move on to another important feature of Instana, that are the events. So basically, Instana lets you create some events on metrics that you want to monitor and from which you want to create an event. And also, you can receive some alerts from the events you want to monitor. So if we click here on all, there is a built-in widgets that let you see a graphic of the incidents, the warnings, and every event in the last few days. And here we have a list of the events that have been triggered in the last days with some other information. And also Instana features gives a different icon for different events, so that you can see at a glance what type of event it has been triggered. So for example, this is a critical issue, this is a critical incident, and so on. Here we have some other filters. So for example, here are all the incidents, here all the issues, and so on. But if we want to actually create an event, we have to go here to the settings and click on the events section. Here are all the events. Please note that the customers can create their own events, but also Instana has built-in events that automatically monitor some events. So you can also decide to filter them, for example. But if we want to create a new event, we have to click here to name it. For example, new event 1. And Instana also gives you an issue preview to let you see what the event will look like. You can also decide to give a description, which is not mandatory, but for example, we will give a description like, so this is a test. We can decide also the issue severity. We can decide whether the event we are creating is a warning, a critical, or an incident. A warning is basically a not very impactful event. A critical is a more important event. But if we decide to click to make the event an incident, that means that Instana automatically, with the built-in AI, analyzes more in depth the root cause of the event, and also gathers other events that are related to this incident. So for example, if the response time gets longer because the database connection is not working, these events are gathered all together in the incident. You can also specify a grace period, which is a period to wait before closing the issue once the conditions are no longer met. So you can decide whether it will be a 5-second grace period or a 24-hour grace period. There are different time ranges. You can also specify the source from which taking the information about the event. So for example, custom metrics, we can specify the Prometheus app, the time window. So for example, 30 seconds. And you can select a metric. So for example, we can decide to monitor and to create the event based on the same metric that we use to create the widget on the dashboard. Then the scope regards from which of the entities that we are monitoring the event will be monitored. So if we select all available entities, a message will be created here from Instana that says that this will match and create issues on all available entities for a condition specified. So this might affect other users in your organization as well. And you can also decide to make this event transient, which means that if this event will last only a few seconds or is not very impactful, this is used to monitor intermittent events or events that happens only once and so on. We can also specify a threshold. So for example, 5 minutes. So transient events that last over this threshold will appear in the graphic and in the list as actual events. And you can also receive an alert if you set it for this type of events. So we can decide to create it. And but if we want to receive a notification on the alert that we created or on some other built-in events made by Instana, we have to create an alert. So as you can see, I already created some alerts on some events that I created. And here we can edit the alert. We can set a name. We can set on which events the alert will be sent to the user, on which, so we can see the events on which the alert will be sent. The scope as for the event. So here we can specify the application perspective, all available entities, and so on. And we can also specify the alert channels on which the alert will be sent to the user. So for example, here I decided to include only Google Chat, but you can also create an alert channel for the mail, some others, chat platforms as Teams and so on. Here you can create the alert channels. So for example, the email, the Google Chat, and so on. And now I will show you how the notification looks like. So I created a specific channel for the alert, Instana alert tests. So when a notification is sent to the user, it looks like this. There is a sum up of the important information of the events. But if you want to go more in depth, you can open it in Instana. And it will look like this. So it will tell you when the event has been triggered, if it ended, the duration, the severity, the triggering entity, a little description that we set for the alert, and some other graphics with some other information. Actually, you can also decide to set the Instana AI to suggest you a solution for this, for different types of events that you decide to monitor. Basically, the demo has ended. I said everything. So thank you for your attention and feel free to ask some questions if you have some doubts. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Any questions?
Instana certainly looks powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is a powerful tool. And also, I wanted to ask to the person that asked the question before, if you can send me your email so that I can let you know about your question about Elastic. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
From an AWS perspective, we've got Datadog. We're not going to buy another observability tool. how can I get metrics out of IWS into Datadog?
Same way.
Same way.
It's exactly the same way.
And there's actually a
So
base
white
dashboard, I thought, in for Datadog. Datadog.
Yeah.
You need to create your own dashboards, but
Yeah, you can
data
do that. How do I actually get the metrics pulled out of IWS?
Same way you do it for Instana.
Yeah.
if you need information, we can provide.
Yeah, and I think Datadog will be able to help as well, because I know
Yes.
previously with Dynatrace, they had their own dashboard that they'd created for IWS.
But the same methodology is for all Instana, Datadog, Dynatrace.
Yeah,
It's all
it's the plugin. Yeah.
Well, it's not even plug-in. It's open.
Yeah.
It's hotels. Really.
Yeah, it's hotel.
Like,
Yeah.
Open to them, yeah.
and all these data are provided in an open format.
Yeah.
Open standard format, so they can be ingested by all these tools.
There isn't a dashboard for Datadog at the moment, but Datadog themselves.
You can build your own dashboard.
Yeah.
So it's how I get the actual metrics. How do I suck those metrics out? Is there like, is there a white paper on things you can call and that you can?
We can get some information.
Yeah, it's published in terms of what open telemetry is
Right,
supports.
okay.
So the easiest one is metrics, because
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested in.
Yeah.
Metrics I can pull.
so you can actually go to, like with the Swagger UI, you put the URL and then GWSD. If you put metrics, it then
Sucks it all out.
dumps it onto your browser.
Yeah, so if you actually went to the Instana information, it will tell you how to effectively to do it as well, how you can replicate
Yeah,
it
right.
with other
Yeah,
tools.
it's
So,
the same process
because
for
it's
every
hotel,
tool.
yeah.
Just what are you feeding it into?
Yeah.
So I can share that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, next and last presentation, Cecilia.
Yes, thank you, Marco.
Yeah, just before we
Yes, sorry.
just before we begin, Julia has asked me to send my email address, isn't it? Is it we need to put that on the chat because I couldn't get the email address of Julia from this Teams meeting.
Oh yeah, no problem.
You want me to put my email address in the chat?
If that's okay for you, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, okay. Let me share the camera, the video, just for a while to say hello. Probably you will see my big face on the screen. Okay. Nice to meet you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Cecilia Baglioni, and I'm a developer for the GeoS team. For today, I'm going to show you the matching criteria for the cross-dependency. I think I can switch off the video and I can share the presentation. Just a second. Okay. I think this presentation is visible, right?
Yes.